Stories like Shema Oizen from Zalman Duchman Olav Shalom. So what do we have here? Okay, friends, it's a moedic word. He relates as follows: Rabbi Yosef Lipschitz of Karyakovka was being treated by Dr. Brook, the eye doctor in the hospital of Hommel. Okay, so a chassid was being treated. Says Rabbi Zalman Duchman, I went with my Zayda at Ramot Chayoel to visit him. And this chassid, Rabbi Yosef Lipschitz, said to us, he said he heard this from the Rebbe Rashab, who said, when something happens to a Yid, every Yid has the power to open up the Tanya and say, Rebbe, help me. He adds in brackets, the author of the book, there seems to be where the custom of placing a pigeon inside the Tanya came from. Now, of course, it's morphed into the Igris. But it's interesting that it's every Yid has the power. Rebbe, help me. I'm going to tell you something that I mentioned in Shabbos and Shul, but it occurs to me, it's a story to a recording. As you know, those who were here heard me tell the story that Sunday was in Teaneck, New Jersey, doing a wedding, performing a wedding. And at the wedding was one of the Beyond Rebbes. There's a few brothers. It's a famous Chassidic dynasty that goes back to the Ruzhiner. And so he's a Rebbe who divides his time between Borough Park and North Miami Beach, and he does in Kiruv, in North Miami Beach, which is how he comes to this wedding, because the Chosn davens, who lives in Miami now, davens in his shul. She opened up fairly recently. So it was just before the chuppah. Everybody's left the room, the Beis Medrash. It's in the Beis Medrash in Teaneck. And it's the three of us, the Chosn, myself, and the Bayan Rebbe, sitting at the table. And the Chosn turns to us, and he was having a kind of a difficult moment. Having a difficult moment. So the Bayan, so he said, help me. He turned to us, help me. So this Rebbe turns to me and says, no, answer him. Okay, so I said what I said. Hashem helped the words in my mouth, and the Chassan teared, smiled, embraced. We're going to the chuppah. I was a bit taken aback that this Rebbe is asking me. So as we were waiting for the procession to begin for the chuppah to fill, and we're going to go up there and do what we have to do, kind of anticipating my question, he says to me, the shluchim have an extra, speaking in Yiddish, have an extra koyach. And he says these words, Nesidarein, the shluchim of Nesidarein. Shluchim of the Rebbe. Explaining why he deferred to me. You answer. Why am I sharing the story? This mice over here. The emes is, the Rebbe made it very clear. Last night, just want to tell you that last night, it may be publicized, but there was a public shir for all the shluchim on the Sikha, the famous landmark watershed Sikha that the Rebbe said 30 years ago, Pashas Chayisora to the shluchim. Tavshin and Beis. Muge, Meridik Sikha, and the Rebbe says more than once that every Yid is a shliach of Nesidarein, or even stronger, that the figure appointed every Yid is a shliach. The point being that if, with all due respect, Chas Shalom, not being critical here, but if Kirov, it's a job, so he's in the Rav business, he's in the Rebbe business, he's in the Kirov business, that's one thing. But if, like he says, every Yid has the koyach the emes, they were all shluchim of the Eibishter through Nesi Dereinu, then every Yid has B'koyach, open the Tanya Rebbe help me. An extension of that is, every Yid has B'koyach to help another Yid in the deepest way, and even give a bracha and advice. And that would encourage people to bless each other. If Verbrengen would happen. One remarkable occasion. The point being that now our generation is now the time already, the Hanose Hu HaKoil, to be manifested and embrace every neshama, every year, that we're all one neshama. And we're all here on the same shlichus. The whole Sikh explained that Mashiach is the shliach. Mashiach is the ultimate shliach, of which we are all extensions. Shlachnu b'yatish, shlach Moishe Rabbeinu's request. And therefore, every year there's this koyach. But it depends. If it's a vocation, and he's saying, you're the shluchim. My counter to him would be, can also be. That's the choice. That's the point. You can also be. But he's acknowledging, not saying, Nesi Dereinu. The Rebbe's message is, we are all that. And everybody has the koyach. If he's plugged in and sees himself, this is 24/7. The Alter Rebbe also had shluchim. The difference is that they were Moishe Nefesh. Alter Rebbe, if you have to read the history and the revolutions, that they did. But it was for a time and then it was over. And then back to the Chassidic lives. The Chiddush of our generation, it's 24/7. We are all shluchim of the Eibishter, and it's each one of us has this power to impact the entire world and the environment and give brachas takeh and give advice, as long as it's not, I know the answer. He's plugged into a place and Vashtacha Protis, and he's there and he sees himself as a shliach, so he meets the moment. We all have this koyach. Okay, you have a wonderful day.
Shkoyach.
B'siras Toivos. David, good to almost see you.